Welcome back to our YouTube channel.
I'm here with another skull, that is the skull of stimulus variation. You know that while lecturing or while using only the verbal skulls in the classroom, that will bore the students. So our teachers should be well aware of another skull, that is the skull of stimulus variation. This is the set of the behaviors for bringing the desirable change in the stimulus that is used to secure or sustain the people's attention towards your classroom. I may say that this is the desirable variation that may be in your voice, tone of voice, or that may be in your, like we can say, gestures, right? So you can change the gesture, you can have a movement, you can change the tone of the voice, that is the stimulus for your students, and accordingly they will respond. And these stimulus we use only to sustain the people's attention in our classroom activities. It's a deliberate change on part of a teacher, right? So it's the change in the behavior, and that is deliberate change on part of a teacher. The teacher changes his behavior in the classroom so that he can or she can secure attention of the students. So it's not that we have introduced the well and we have explained the lecture well to the students, but we have to sustain or secure the attention of the students. So for that purpose, the teacher has to make some deliberate changes in his behavior in the classroom. So like greet to the students greet to us and we respond to their greetings. In the beginning, there should be the confidence, not the arrogance, and the teachers. You have to check the presence of the mind of the students while we are giving them the stimulus. You can have the eye contact with the students. You can have a little smile on your face for the students. Now the question is that the variation or the change which we have to do, what changes we have to do, when we have to change. Like there are the questions, what we have to change, when we have to change, and how we have to change. These questions, when, what, and how we have to change, this is the skill that you have to learn. That is the skill of stimulus variation. Means you have to change the stimulus. Stimulus is your behavior. We see what components are there in the skill of stimulus variation. The first component is the movements. Second component is gestures. Third is the change of voice. Fourth is the focusing. Fifth is change in interaction styles. Sixth is pausing. Seventh is oral visual switching. Lastly, it's the physical involvement of the students. These are the 8 components which are there in the skill of stimulus variation. So let me see one by one these. The first one is the movements. So there will be some well planned movements, and those movements will be meaningful. We are having the well planned and the meaningful moments in our classroom. You can go to the students, you can come back to the friend, you can go back in the class. And the next is gestures. What are the gestures? These are the non-verbal clues to the students. So what kind of clues a teacher can give to the students? He can use eyes for giving the clues. He can use hands. He can use head, or he can use the facial expressions for giving some clues to the student. So these are the non-verbal gestures which we show in the classroom. And after that, we are having the change in voice. It may be in terms of the tone of the voice, or in terms of the pitch of the voice, or in terms of the speed of the voice. For example, teachers sometimes speeding up their lecture, or sometimes they have a high pitch and sometimes they lower their pitch, and sometimes they are speaking in one tune and sometimes they are speaking in another tune. So you have to change your voice in the classroom in the form of tune. You can raise your tune, you can lower your tune. You can raise your pitch, you can lower your pitch. You can speed up up your voice, we can say. You can speed up what you are talking, and you can have some little break while you are talking. And then after that, there is one more component, that is the focusing. This focusing, it's the verbal behavior. This is use of verbal words to make students focused upon the lecture. Like, well, sometimes your teacher is using the words, it's important concept. Sometimes your teacher is using the words, look here. Or sometimes your teacher is using the words, these are the words, these are the verbal things which a teacher is using while focusing the students' attention towards lecture. And these may be in the form of the words, these may be in the form of the gestures also. Sometimes we use gestures also to focus the students' attention towards the lecture. And after that, we are having one more component, that is the change in the interaction style. The classroom, I have already told you that we are having the 4 types of interaction styles. The first interaction style is where the teacher is talking to the whole group, right? And the second interaction style is where the teacher is talking to one student only, right? And the third interaction style is where student and student is interacting with one another, like in discussion. And we have one more interaction style, that is the student teacher interaction style. Like, student is asking some question to the teachers, that is the student teacher interaction style. So in the classroom, you have to change the interaction styles while teaching. Sometimes you are teaching to the whole group, like I am teaching to the whole group, and sometimes I am changing the interaction style, like I am focusing to the single student and I am asking him or her some question. And sometimes to discuss upon some issue, there will be the student-student interaction, and sometimes the student themselves ask the questions to the teacher. So there is the another style, that is the student teacher style. So this is the change in the interaction style. And then it's the pausing, or we can say teachers taking the pause in between the lectures. This is the short, deliberate on part of the teacher. It's the short silence on part of the teacher, and that too is deliberate. So the teacher is deliberately going on silent mode for a short while. Why there should be the pausing in between the lecture or when you are teaching to the students? Like when you have asked some question to the students and they have to answer that question, so you take a short pause so that they may understand that question. And sometimes we are taking a pause to make the students somewhat disciplined, we can say. So there are so many reasons to take a deliberate pause in between the lectures. And another component is that is the oral visual switching. We have 2 types of switchings. We have the switching from audio when we are verbally saying something to the visual when we are showing something. And second switching is when we are showing something and we come back to the oral or we come back to the audio. So we use 2 types of switchings, or both the switchings, either we use one or we use both. From when we are lecturing and we have to focus the students to some AV aids, that is the visual aid, and we have to come back from the AV aid to the visual aid, that is from visual to audio switching. So we have 2 types of switchings, audio visual switchings. That is, first is that we have from oral to visual, and second is from visual to oral. And the last component of this is physical involvement of the students. So the physical involvement of the students is must in any teaching learning process. How you can make the students involved, you as a teacher can use varied methods of teaching so that you can make your students involved in your teaching learning process. So these are the components that come under the cycle of stimulus variation. Those are deliberate changes in the behavior of people, teacher, or the teacher. Here is a model lesson. You have to make the 3 columns, and in each column, first column, we have to make our activities, what we have to do, and the student activities or the responses. And third is the component, like we have used the movement, or we have used the gestures, we have used focusing. So like we have changed the tune or voice, we have used pausing and other components. And now there is the time for observation schedule, how an observer will rate. So there is the component, that is the components used, what kind of components the teacher has used. And second is how many times he have used, that is the tally marks. And third is the rating scale, how much rating scale he can give to him. And lastly, how we calculate is that total number of the ratings and a number of the components which we have. For example, if we have 20 total number of ratings and we have 8 components, so 20 will be divided by 8, and that will be calculated, will be the final rating of the student. So we have to see the rating should be above 5, that is the good. If the rating will be below 5, then we have to reteach. So this is all about the next skill, that is the skill of stimulus variation.
If you like this video, don't forget to give the thumbs up to this video. Share this video with other students so that the student community get benefited from this video. If you are new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe our channel and press the bell icon to get the new notifications of our videos. Thank you very much. God bless you.